Reason number 17. People who think they have free will to renounce their salvation believe that the will of man usurps the power of God. You were kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation. 1 Peter 1:4. The next time religionists approach you with the argument that they have the free will to lose their salvation, ask them to do the following: squat down, then jump up and touch the moon. They will quickly discover their free will has limitations. Since the will of our flesh cannot propel us to the moon, why would we think this same will can propel us beyond the moon into heaven itself to tamper with the eternal inheritance that is reserved in heaven for us? The truth of the matter is that free will, as men understand it, does not exist in God or man, devil or demon. Free will has parameters, it has limits. God himself has self-imposed restrictive limits on his free will in that he must adhere to his word, which is his constitution. And he, with all of his authority and power, cannot violate nor override his word. God cannot do whatever he pleases if it does not coincide with his word. Legalists who say believers have free will to terminate their salvation at any given moment, or that free will gives the redeemed the right to lose their salvation, are teachers of the law that understand neither what they say nor whereof they affirm. The born again who believe that free will is the be all end all of salvation have believed a lie. Common sense teaches us that free will is not without limits. Here are the following classic examples of these limitations. Here are some limitations of free will. Adam did not have the free will to eat of the tree of life in his fallen state. God does not have the free will to save those who die in unbelief. You do not have the free will to run 80 miles an hour. The living will die, and their free will not prevent this. People in jail do not have the free will to leave when they please. In heaven or hell, the dead cannot stop being dead by their own free will. Sinners do not have the free will to go to heaven outside of accepting Jesus Christ's resurrected life as payment for their sin debt. Satan does not have the free will to avoid his God-appointed punishment. Man does not have the free will to approach God outside of Christ. The Antichrist does not have the free will to halt his manifestation. The redeemed have no free will to will Christ out of existence in them. The world does not have the free will to abort Christ's second coming. Lost souls in hell do not have the free will to go to heaven, and the list goes on and on. Free will requires the power to execute it. Moreover, the scriptures state that the powers that be are ordained of God, and God has not ordained any power that can abort the salvation of one soul who believes his gospel. The scriptures even state that free will has boundaries. For to will is present, but to perform I find not. The lack of the power to perform the will is the chief limitation of free will. Free will is composed of two components, the will and the power to execute that will. Jesus exposed the limitations of free will in his conversation with Pontius Pilate, who is threatening him with execution. Jesus made very clear to Pilate that thou couldst have no power at all except it is given thee from above. His statement tells you that if you could exercise or execute Christ in you and thereby eliminate your salvation, that power would not originate from sin nor of you, but would have to be given thee from above. Be advised, the great God shall never again grant power to have his Son, who is thy salvation, executed or eliminated, much less destroyed. Case closed. Now imagine a man or woman trying to renounce his or her salvation while having no power at all, like Pilate. It's absurd. How dare our false hearts utter that the will of our flesh can usurp the power of God that keeps us saved? Scripture states, we are kept by the power of God, not by the power of free will. Free will, especially human free will, is no match against the saving power of God that keeps us saved. Our willpower can barely keep us on a diet, much less maintain our soul's eternal salvation. It is the power of God that sustains our salvation, and not our willpower. That's reason number 17 from the book, 100 Reasons Why Born-Again Believers Cannot Lose Their Salvation.